Hey, hello, David Breslow back here with you. I am the founder of Performance Success Strategies and the creator of Wired to Win. So stay tuned because in a moment I want to come back with today's mental game training tip. Be back in a moment. Okay, welcome back. Today I would like to talk to you about what I call inner conversation. You may have heard it phrased as self-talk. It's if you've read any books on sports psychology or mental game training for golf or peak performance for life or anything like that, you've probably read some material about the importance of self-talk. But I would like to address it a little bit differently today because your inner conversation or self-talk is hugely important in terms of the consequences that you have. So, for example, did you ever notice that when you were kind of mumbling to yourself about, oh, I'm really not that good, or geez, I poorly play this hole all the time when I play it, or I miss 3-foot putts all the time, or blah, 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 whatever it might be. That kind of inner conversation seems like it's not a big deal, but it really is. Did you ever notice the one-to-one correlation between when you have those kinds of inner conversations that are rather negative and self-demeaning, that it absolutely affects the way you play the game? Most golfers will say, yeah, I kind of noticed that, but they don't, they just kind of blow right past it like it's not really meaningful, but it really is, because the only reason you're playing poorly is because of that inner dialogue. See, the outer dialogue, what we say to other people and how we talk about ourselves to other people, is really not that important in comparison. We can deceive ourselves, and we do it all the time. You know, people who write advertising are paid to deceive people in a way to make their product look better than it is. And you've seen the commercials on TV where that hamburger looks huge and juicy and 6 inches tall and blah, blah, blah. And then when you go get it, it's like half that size. But it's made to be deceitful. So it's the things we say on the outside that are deceitful, and they're not really getting us what we want. Because what's most important is what's being said on the inside, the inner conversation. Because those words have feelings attached to them. Did you ever notice that? When you say, I'm no good, there's an emotion attached to that. There's a feeling attached to that. And it's that feeling that causes the manifestation of the good play or the poor play. So to start to make that one-to-one correlation between when your inner conversation is up and positive and good, that your play generally reflects that. Make that correlation. And also make the opposite correlation, that when your inner conversation is demeaning or negative or a downer, that you tend to perform right in line with that as well. It's not a mistake. So please pay attention to your inner conversations, because your outer and your outer conversation, and see if the two don't mesh. You know, those times when you're told to be positive, but you don't really feel that way and it really doesn't work. You try affirmations, because the reason it doesn't work is because underneath that affirmation is your inner conversation is completely different than that. So if you're saying, hey, I feel great, I'm a great golfer, but underneath your inner conversation is, I'm really not that, I'm not playing as good as I should, or I've been underperforming for a long time, or whatever that might be. Okay. That inner dialogue is the one that's going to create the experience you're having. And that's one of the key messages I want to get to you here today, is those inner conversations that have any kind of feeling attached to it are literally creating your experience. It's not an accident. I'm not going to get into the mechanics of how that's actually happening, but I want you to see the correlation. Open your eyes. Look at the correlation. It's real. Okay? It is real. So this is not a joke. So I'm going to ask you this time to start paying attention to your inner conversation and to start making the correlation to how you feel and how you're performing. and start to see that one-to-one connection. So that when you start to get into a place of a negative inner conversation, you can start to break that record. Literally just break the record, okay? Break the record, and it will be starting to move, then you'll start to move the needle in the other direction. So, Dave Breslow, thanks for hanging out with me. You're also welcome to leave a note in cyberspace, and welcome to visit my website, mentalgolfcoaching.com. That's www.mentalgolfcoaching.com. So I look forward to talking to you next time. Thanks for hanging out. Take care.